SGDQ2014, put on by Speed Demos Archive and Speedruns Live. This is to benefit Doctors Without Borders. All your donations will go to them. They are a international medical humanitarian organization created by doctors and journalists in France in 1971. Today, MSF, that's Médecins Sans Frontières, provides independent, impartial assistance in more than 60 countries to people whose survival is threatened by violence, neglect, or catastrophe, primarily due to armed conflict, epidemics, malnutrition, exclusion from healthcare, or natural disasters. In 1999, MSF received the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts. There are several other ways you can support the marathon and the charity. One excellent way is to go to humblebundle.com/SGDQ, and they are selling games that we've been playing during this marathon. If you want to take advantage of that sale, all proceeds from those games go to Doctors Without Borders. Some of the games available are Noit to Love 2 Devolution, Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, Bleed, Dust Force, Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams, Guacamelee, and Psychonauts. You can also visit theyetee.com, that's THEYETEE/GamesDoneQuick. They're selling t-shirts related to the event, some awesome designs that you can get there, and $3 from the sale of each shirt goes directly to Doctors Without Borders. We have a $20 donation from Christian Marino. Been watching AGDQ for a while now, and it's a shame I'm missing most of it because of work, but coming home to see such an incredible event just warms my heart. Keep it up, guys. Can't wait for Final Fantasy VI. $15 from Deborah Bork. Hey, Ubergoose, Ferret, and Spike. Hope you guys are enjoying the marathon. We're also lucky to have this amazing event to watch and contribute to. As some of you know, I spent the first few days of SGDQ in the hospital with a blood condition, but I'm happy to report that I'm out and doing much better. SGDQ made my time in there go so much faster. P.S. Goose, you still owe me $5, but if you beat Ferret in this race, we'll call it even. $10 from Tim Dreher. Hey guys, Momo here. Best of luck to everyone in the race. Sadly, I cannot watch it live as I will be sitting in an exam right now, but at least I can donate. $10 to Ferret's Choice, and I will donate another $10 for each race he wins. I have $40 from Joseph Newman. This is my first time donating, and when I noticed that you can get a Wii U and 3DS XL, I had to at least give it a try. Anyway, Skyward Sword was an interesting game to watch, and I'm glad this money is going to a good cause. Oh yeah, save the animals. If you're using AdBlock, if you turn that off, any ads that we play between runs will help, the revenue from that will help us fund putting on future marathons just like this to help other charities. AGDQ, which runs in the winter, is to help the Prevent Cancer Foundation. You can also support Doctors Without Borders and and future marathons by subscribing, which will also give you a badge next to your name in chat. and also some extra emotes. So we're about to get ready for Rayman Legends. Coming up after Rayman Legends, expect to see Dishonored by Fearfulferret and Decided Sloth, Fallout 3 by Stone Knot, and Bible Adventures by Brosentia. That will be
Look at it! It's not tomatoes, it's ketchup.
That will be the David and Goliath scenario.
Oh my God.
That was awful. I just want you to know.
That was the worst joke of history. Welcome to Late Night SGDQ2014.
All right. I mean, I nailed the stretch, so I'm pretty good. I ought to win the race. Does this have the GoldenEye dot?
It still has the golden eye.
We've just received a $35 donation from Danny Schoening. Shout out to all the runners from Dapper Dan Schoening. Your skills and time are greatly appreciated and inspirational. Sending positive vibes to you all. SGDQ hype! And a $25 donation from Joseph Solberg. Hey guys, it's your friendly neighbor Not Goose here to wish the Rayman Legends runners good luck. Oh yeah, and Goose, you better win this race or I don't know, make me proud, Goose. And and did I forget? I won't be watching you for a while. Thyroid cancer sucks. Still #1 on Goose's donation list. We wish you well with that. We've received a $25 donation from Stephen Worthy, who says, "Hey Ferret, tangent here. Catch."
Looks pretty lame.
It's because it is.
Another $20 donation from Amy Child. "Hey guys, Bob here. Shout out to Spike, Ubergoose, Ferret, Vooligan, Broman, Mickey. So many people. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but I'll see you all at SGDQ. Castle Rock hype. Also, Ram, Mike, I think you guys owe UA another bottle of vodka. Much love. And in the words of the 16th President of the United States of America, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes."
Yeah, I hear it now.
Yeah.
I died right at the worst time. I just want to point that out.
Shoutouts to inside jokes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Working on it.
Dude, I've got the golden eye dot on my screen. The dot's gonna kill me so much.
I need to turn this like a little bit more. All right. That should be good.
Okay. You guys all ready?
Sure.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm a cheater.
I'm about to say, Bear and I are right on. So yeah, what's up, everyone? This is Rayman Legends. We're gonna be doing a 3-way any % race of this. I'm Spikevegeta.
Ubergoose.
Fearfulferret.
And just a couple little backstory things about this game. Just released last year. It's the second in the kind of rebirth of the 2D platforming section of the Rayman series. Rayman Origins was released in 2011. We actually did a pretty silly co-op run of it last SGDQ. I guess this is kind of our sequel to it. We're taking this one a little bit more seriously. I think in a lot of ways they improved this game from a speedrunning standpoint, and we'll kind of get to that as we go through the game. Ferret, do you want to explain at all about what our goal is going to be in this, what we have to achieve to beat the game?
Sure, so the end of the game is defined as getting to the end credits, and in order to do that, you need to defeat all 5 of the bosses. And the boss that's the most difficult to unlock is the boss in World 5, so essentially we just keep collecting teensies because teensies allow us to unlock levels. And we continue unlocking teensies until we're able to unlock the final boss, and then we beat him, get to the end credits, and that's the end of the run.
Yeah. And to note, the teensies he's talking about are these little blue guys that they're capturing.
Yeah, and they're just scattered across every level. A standard level has 8 regular ones, and then a king and a queen teensy, and that'll make sense once we actually get into it.
Also, if we get it on the first run, that means you don't see this little text box. I had like second.
Yeah, second frame.
So yeah, Goose, do you want to? I mean, you can.
So you'll see pretty immediately that there's a lot of movement tech in this game, and you go real fast.
Sweet, I didn't miss the first guy.
Nice, good start. But this game is very heavily momentum based, and downward slopes are your best friend. There's a lot of really like interesting stuff, and I did a lot of work to try to figure out the fastest way to move. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Hey guys, can we have a roll call?
Yeah, I'm Spikevegeta.
Ubergoose.
Fearfulferret.
I didn't get the swag, I didn't die, so whatever.
I got the baby tickle skip. So I'm gonna do a clip, which is pretty fun.
All right, so right now you might be looking at, you've got Rayman on screen. You've also got this little like green frog bug type thing called Murphy. Originally, this game is actually going to be a Wii U exclusive. So Murphy was actually going to be, what someone controlled on the gamepad. Whoops, just standing punches.
Yep, I got the same thing.
All right,
It's not great.
It's not a good thing.
I hovered instead of jumping. So one thing that's like kind of annoying is that you can sort of DKC jump in this game, and what that means is you can jump after doing an attack, even if you're in midair, but the window is a bit wonky, and sometimes you'll just glide down to your death.
Yeah. To explain to finish what I was trying to say, like with Murphy there, the little green guy, originally this was actually going to be a Wii U exclusive, where Murphy was what, a second player would control on the gamepad. They'd move platforms, swipe things. When they actually decided to make it a multi-platform console, they instead changed that to where you control all of it with you control both Rayman and Murphy with the same controller. So it's almost by accident, it ends up being like the best speed levels in the game, like the most technical stuff. You're using like every button on your controller.
Yeah, and so, by the way, sorry if we don't talk too terribly much. There's a lot of stuff that is like really hard to execute. Especially World 2 and 5 are pretty big.
So yeah, as we talked about, there are 10 teensies in every kind of normal level. There are 8 that are just along the path, and then there's the king and queen teensies, which are denoted by the bigger teensies in the top right corner and the little icons. The king and queen teensies, that was here.
So,
talking.
So, okay, one of the big movement tech things that we've already used a couple times in this level, and we'll use a couple more times, is called roll jumping. And for whatever reason, if you jump at the starting animations of a roll, which you initiate just by holding down and moving fast, you actually get extra height and slow down a little bit. And we abuse that in a couple spots to get to spots that we're not actually intended to be.
We also use damage boost in a few strats. Rayman can only take 1 hit, and if he has a heart, then he can take 2. So there are a few places where we get a heart, and then later on we take damage to try and get to a place faster than we otherwise could. But otherwise, if we don't have a heart, then we're 1 hit from death at all times, which is kind of hair-raising. The game is pretty generous with checkpoints, though, so most deaths cost maybe around 5 or 10 seconds.
Yeah. Although there are a couple that are very expensive.
It can go as high as 2 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
If you do what I do.
I was about to say, shout-outs to Ferret and I in the back room just now.
Yeah.
Also, shout-outs to that tentacle.
Yeah, a $50 donation from Danielle Cook. Why would I sleep when I can watch speedruns instead? Thanks to Fearfulferret, Spikevegeta, Ubergoose, and everyone behind the scenes for also foregoing sleep to bring us this awesome Rayman Legends run.
So,
yeah, I'm about to say, we could go ahead and explain that, I guess.
So every time that you complete a level, it counts up your lums, and the lums are the little yellow guys that you can collect. And if you collect them while they're pink, then they're worth double, and that continues along a chain. For the most part, we don't want lums, so all they do is waste time at the end of a level. And it is 100 lums for every 1 second when you're speeding it up. So basically, it's a matter of frames, but the more lums you avoid, the more time you end up saving, unless it's a level where we need to collect them, which we'll get into later.
Yeah. In general, World 1 is actually like really technical. All the ground is like not flat in any way, so your movement is pretty sophisticated across the whole plane.
$100 from Jared Kamish. You may not be able to fly as fast as Vegeta, but damn it, I believe in the goose.
Ooh,
Little gimmick about this level is when you touch the blue butterflies, that's actually what causes the platforms to move. And right there you saw a case where by us flying over the butterflies, like I just did, you're actually able to, and actually let me make sure I get this real quick. I got it, yes. All right, that's a clap.
No.
No, it's not, okay. But yeah, by doing that thing like 5 seconds ago, again, it's hard for us to explain this stuff because it goes pretty fast.
Yeah, there's just like so much that goes into like every single second of gameplay.
Yeah, but essentially, I was able to break that cage through the tentacle. If I had touched the butterflies, it would have raised that tentacle up, and I would have had to actually go under it, so. Next up, we've got another Murphy level, so lots of having to use both characters at the same time.
So the reason why movement in this game is so demanding is that there's really no one thing you can just always be doing to go fast. You always have to be switching between different movements in order to go quickly, because if you do a spin attack, then there's a cooldown before you can do another one. And generally speaking, a spin attack is the fastest way to accelerate up to Rayman's fastest momentum on flat ground. But after a spin attack, you have to go into either a jump or an attack or something else to keep that movement going for as long as you can. And just depending on the topography of the level, you have to adjust what your chained moves are off of the spin attacks based off of what the level looks like. So pretty much every level just has a sort of series of movements that you go through.
So one thing that I've done twice so far, it's called water boosting. Basically, the second that you get into the water, you can do a spin attack in the water, and what it'll do is it'll transfer the momentum that you had before entering the water and transfer it completely horizontally, which allows you to get a gigantic boost. And that'll be used a lot in later levels.
A $20 donation from Dan Blees. Oh man, I remember running Origins last year. If I recall correctly, I embraced casual percent a bit too much. Spike and Goose can back me up on this. Anyways, figured that nostalgia was a good enough reason to donate. Shout out to dash attacking into Spike and ruining his jumps.
Shout outs to Blees.
So I just randomly died at the beginning of this queen area, and I have no idea how. The end.
Blame Xbox. That's the answer.
So there is almost no actual RNG. Oh, did we just talk about that?
No, like we're tied.
Oh, we are literally tied.
And I'm ahead.
Yeah. Okay, go on.
There's very little actual RNG in this game. There's just crap that doesn't work all the time. So you'll just die in places that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Expect plenty of that's never happened before moments.
Yeah. Some enemies have incredibly bizarre AI that changes 1 out of 100 times. It's super rare, but it happens occasionally. So I guess we can talk about enemies. For the most part, the standard enemy will give 5 lums when you kill them, and you can kill them with anything, jumping on their head or whatever. But then there's some exceptions. The big guys that you have to tickle, which we avoided at the start of the game, they're worth 15 if you kill them with normal ways. If you actually tickle them, then they're worth 30. And then every other enemy is just some varied amount. Some are 3, a couple are 0, but for the most part, they're 5.
So here for the next level, it's kind of our first real auto-scroller. One good thing about this game compared to like Rayman Origins for Speedrun is there's very little auto-scrolling compared to that. There were lots of mosquito levels, which were shoot-em-ups back then. So they thankfully removed all of those, but they're actually in the game in their own kind of way. But so this being an auto-scroller, we actually are going to collect the lums throughout it, again, which are these little yellow guys that you see on the screen. To explain why we want them from 10 levels in the game, because if you get 3/4 of the way to a gold medal, then you achieve what's called a lucky ticket, which is a pseudo-random ticket, as in not actually random, that allows you access to what are called Back to Origins levels, which are HD remasters. Whoa, this is cut off. Okay. Which are HD remasters of Rayman Origins levels. And there are 2 levels we actually want to get access to there, because they'll give us access to essentially 20 very fast TNCs.
Yeah, and to add on to that, the intended purpose of the lucky tickets is basically to get creatures and lums, and then they have the Back to Origins levels as kind of a bonus, at least from a casual perspective. But fortunately, the levels are fast enough, and since you get 1 extra teensy while scratching the ticket anyway, it's just very fast.
And this level right about where these guys are now, you can glitch the camera by going to the next area faster than the game expects.
Right. Also, shout outs to this song. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
This entire soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
Also, if you like this game, a friend of ours that's at the event just got it on Steam for $10. Go buy it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And the PC is actually technically the best version. Well, it has the least amount of loading.
True.
So whatever you would constitute as best, it's that. So.
Yeah. It's just, some of you might be wondering why if that's the case, why we're not running it on the PC version. Sadly, the PC version actually is very, very inconsistent about its load times.
Yeah.
Like, even within your own copy of the game, you can sometimes have, up to 30 seconds different in load times, which is obviously a problem when, records are coming down to 30 seconds, or coming
Right.
down to 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Also, shouts to no thanks.
Yeah.
Most important button in the game.
So every time that you unlock a new world or the first time you unlock a time trial, the game asks you if you want to check it out. And the first pop-up for each is mandatory, but everyone thereafter you can avoid by menuing. So you can lose like 20 seconds for free if you mess up.
We have a $30 donation from Johan Hoekstra. So I woke up 6 hours ago at 3 a.m. to watch this run. Turns out I was a bit early, but now I'm even more hyped to watch this run. Good luck.
Well, I got a damage boost.
Hey, save those frames.
Yeah, while losing seconds.
Oh.
Story of this game.
And a $20 donation from Maximilian Pelchin. Spikevegeta got me into speedrunning with his FF9 and Kingdom Hearts 2 runs. That man is pure entertainment and has the best streamer voice ever. Here's to him winning the race. Sorry, Fearful and Ubergoose.
Heartless.
And here's a $50 donation from Matthew Dungeon. Vulcan280 here. On behalf of the Fearfulferret chat and Mod Squad, here's $50. Fearfulferret, you are the gaming god no matter what Sloth or Blood Thunder may say. We will always love, support you whenever you need it. Lastly, can I see some Ritz Mitz in the chat? Lucha!
Thank you so much, Vulcan. Shout out to my entire chat. They raised enough money to get me here, and I'm so thankful and blessed that I'm able to be here because of them. You guys are awesome.
So this is another level where we actually want that lucky ticket. But again, it's determined by, we have to do hardly anything to get that lucky ticket this level. One or two things out of the way and that's it.
Just got a $100 donation from Tom Maloney. A lot of fun had and still more to go this year at SGDQ. Let's put 50 towards some animal barbecue ZB style and the other 50 towards Ivan's glitched run.
You might have noticed that looked a little weird if you were watching any of our screens that we kind of clip through dragons. It's not really a clip, the dragons just don't actually have hitboxes, only their fire does. So you can get there before their fire starts, like the one Goose just went through. You don't actually have to do anything about it. You won't get hit or anything.
Now we're coming up on the first boss, and the way bosses work is they don't really have much of a health meter or anything like that. Basically, they have a part of their attack where they're vulnerable to damage, and if you attack them a certain number of times in a row while they're vulnerable, then you go on to the next phase. So the dragon's gonna like shoot a few fireballs and hover off to the side, and then I can attack him maybe, I guess, 4 or 5 times, and he'll die.
Yeah, it's 5 hits to defeat a boss's phase.
There are also some parts where it's faster to die or just restart at the last checkpoint than it is to go on normally. So right here for this first phase of the dragon, if you restart sequence after killing those 3 enemies, then the dragon just appears right on screen instead of having to do a slow fly-up animation, and it saves a few seconds.
Yeah, you can either restart the sequence or you can actually just die. They both count as the same thing. Also, look at this bleeding red screen I have. Shouts to Chad who doesn't know what I'm talking about.
So unfortunately, the first boss is not very interesting. You just kind of sit outside of his fireballs and that's it. Second phase is a little more interesting because there is a quick kill that's fairly difficult. And then third phase is, again, back to pretty much just sit in one spot. But the bosses do get a lot more interesting as the game goes on, in my opinion.
Also, if you're watching, you might be wondering why we're shooting off screen like this. It's actually to hit this teen scene that was much earlier. So we get to the part that we can't speed up, and then we just shoot backwards till we hit it.
Got it.
Nice.
Good job.
I got it.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna fail it, don't worry.
Okay, good. We need someone to show you why.
Right. Yeah, the reason the quick heal is so difficult on the second phase is because one of his fireballs blocks pretty much all of your fists unless you pretty much get into a very kind of specific spot. Nice, I got it, okay.
Nice, wow.
We
literally have like 10% consistency.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, that is literally never happened before.
All right, I'm done. Sorry, guys.
Oh, we're not done. This game ain't done with us.
Yeah.
All right, so this is one of the few levels where at least I pay a lot of attention to my lump count and try and end with exactly either 95 or 100, which saves a little bit of time on the end score screen because it doesn't have to go past the gold medal.
Right, and if you do get exactly a medal, and this will come into place pretty much only with boss fights, but if you have exactly what a medal is, then the game will overlap two different pause things that happen in the count up. Because it pauses every time you get a medal and it pauses between the finish counting and you can continue. And it'll overlap the two, so it'll actually save about a second.
All right, so after the World 1 boss, we go on to World 2. The route to get the right number of teensies is kind of complicated, especially later on, because as you get more teensies, you unlock other levels. But if we just went to one of the very late stages right now, then we'd be able to play maybe like one mission and then have to backtrack to get more teensies. So the way we go through levels just tries to go through them as efficiently as possible. So we'll be coming back to World 1 to do a lot of the time trials. We'll explain about those later, but those are basically fast ways to get teensies that only unlock after you complete later missions.
Also, you notice we're not going to actually go on to the overworld hub very much in this game. We're actually going to be utilizing the quote-unquote suitcase, which is that little menu you go into to kind of work to stuff that they're giving you notifications that you've unlocked certain levels.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the only one that's very consistent is the very first time we use it. Past that, we have to, dig through the suitcase to find the notification.
Sick. Also, shoutouts to Kung Foot, fun soccer ball minigame in this game.
Is that the only time we actually use the soccer ball?
I think so.
Yeah, the soccer ball is actually needed in that one.
Yeah.
There will be a few other times where we go to the Kung Fu ones and we just get the cage without using it.
Right. A couple are a bit more scary than others.
There's one in particular I can think of.
And so what you saw us probably do, at least I did it, is after we kick the soccer ball, we grab the heart. The reason being, kings and queens, after you complete the challenge or whatever, it will give you a heart. If you have a heart and you get one, then that's 5 extra lums. So all it is saving time.
You also get 5 extra lums if you have a heart at the end of the mission.
Yeah.
Here's a $5 donation from Patrick Cullen. Spikevegeta is my spicy hero. What a beautiful hunk of a man. Spike, if you're down to, I would like to invest in a baby with you. I hear it's cheap if you get it in on the ground floor. Love you, Patty.
Oh, I didn't catch who that was from first. Shouts to late night SGDQ, where every donation hits through.
So something that you guys will see in 2.2 specifically, we did it in 2.1. So the trampoline-like things, the pillows is what we call them.
Blue stuff.
When you ground pound them, it'll launch you at a higher angle and faster. And so if you are underneath one just a little bit and you ground pound, your hitbox gets extended both upwards and downwards. So if you're below it and you ground pound, it'll actually count as a ground pound from below and launch you upwards. And it's very useful in 2.2 specifically.
I'll try and point that out when I get to it.
Yeah.
There are also a few teensies that are underground in plants. Those are probably the hardest to remember just because you can't tell the difference between them and others, but they're there. All right, so coming up here on my screen is the thing where I'm going to ground pound under these two, and just at the very beginning of the ground pound animation, it brings me up a little bit, so I get a very far jump from just ground pounding directly under these pillows. And we call them pillows because they're actually literally pillows in the first world, and we don't want to have a different name for every world, so they're just pillows. is the same thing here.
Yep.
That one's pretty fun.
Whoops.
Alright, let's see if I get the impossible teensy.
I would say it's not even hard, but I missed it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That was probably one of the harder teensies to actually get on the first bounce when we first started. Whatever. I missed the first ground pound. I'm gonna miss it, I guarantee.
Also, you might be wondering just about Murphy in general, again, the little green guy that you control. Like, you wonder if he's maybe kind of random or not. You'll hear us complain about him, but in reality, everything he does is completely position-based. Whatever, like, object or enemy or anything he'll go to is completely based on how you're positioned with Rayman.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to actually learn
Sure.
your specific positioning.
They're lying, it's RNG.
Yeah, pretty much. It might as well be at this point.
And now you're seeing us all go into the first and only what's called a princess level in this game. They're just little side rooms where you get 3 fast teensies.
Yeah.
Where at least you get 3 teensies. This is the only one that made the 260 teensy cut.
Yeah, these levels unlock other characters. We don't actually use any of the other characters. They're almost identical to Rayman, but not quite. But they're
Right.
not different enough to use in the speedrun, so we just...
The biggest difference would be Glowbox, who actually can punch through walls, but unfortunately that's not actually useful.
Oh, damn, that's
I would want that power.
It'd be pretty cool.
I got the reels.
So like I said, World 2 is one of the more technical worlds, so we probably will be concentrating quite a bit.
Yeah, naturally, obviously, as you can see, there's not a lot of ground in a lot of these levels in this world. And there's a lot of just wind currents that kind of throw things off. So you have to figure out alternative ways to gain speed.
There was another intentional death to save a very small amount of time.
All right, no speed there.
Here's a $10 donation from Davis Thorne, aka Dark Terex. Don't disappoint me, Spike. Hopefully I can watch the entire race this time without the screen freezing. As far as the donation, in the words of this famous Spikevegeta, ladies and gentlemen, let 'em die.
So something really important to keep in mind is that there's a lot of cycle-based things that we need to hit, especially in the level that we're doing. And if you miss a cycle, then you just lose time like I did there.
There's a very difficult trick at the beginning of last layer that I'm about to try and probably not going to get.
Oh, nice.
I got half of it.
Yeah. It's a very, very finicky trick. Oh, God. My cycles are all off.
Once you miss one cycle, you just never know what's coming up.
Yeah.
Yup.
Get the teensy.
I missed the trick. It's very, very tough to get that. But at least
I
you saw
got
it.
half of it.
Yeah, you saw it. You saw 2 people get half of it. Oh God, what do I do? Okay.
If you get it correctly, then you can just run ahead of the vines on the ground, and you don't have to hover in the updraft, which is pretty slow.
Yeah.
Hovering is one of the slower things you can do in the game, so we try to avoid it.
Yeah, the way it essentially starts is you can actually have your sprite completely off of a platform before you have to jump. So we're essentially jumping at like one of the very last pixels in order to actually get in front of that first tentacle to then spin jump off of that. You can actually do it with a regular jump also, but it's a little harder in my opinion. So here we got yet another Murphy level. Again, as we brought up, like they intended this on being a Wii U exclusive at first, so they, really made sure Murphy was there for quite a bit of the game. I actually, when I first wanted to speedrun this game, I bought it for the Wii U, not knowing this was the case where if you try to play the Wii U version, when Murphy pops up, you actually just control him, and the AI takes over Rayman or what ends up being Glowbox at that point, just the regular character, and they move slow as molasses. So, honestly, if you were gonna run that version, which you don't, the best way to do it that I found was to get a second Wiimote nunchuck, have that in your hand controlling Glowbox as the Wii U gamepad is in your lap and you swipe like platforms and stuff with your pinky for Murphy.
Yeah, it's a mess.
So yeah, just get one of the other versions.
I got a bad cycle. So there are some cycles, especially this level, where we just don't know what causes them to be wrong. Like seemingly you can do the same thing and get two different results, and we still haven't figured it out quite yet. But for the most part, cycles are based on like a global timer after you start the level. I messed up. I don't have a heart. Should I do this? Yeah, I'll go
Yeah,
for it.
I went for it. I didn't have to work.
I'm crazy enough.
Sure.
I got it. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
I've missed it. And the 295.
Yeah, I went over 300.
I probably got like 6. I'm really good about getting max scores on these.
If only we did a score run.
Yep. Just the Twin Galaxies.
There are some other categories that have been thrown around for this game. Any percent is by far the most popular. But there's also all teensies, there's all Diamond Cups where you only do the main levels and none of the Return to Origins levels.
Right, which I think is probably the most interesting run,
Yeah.
past any percent.
Because if you add in the Back to Origins levels, which takes a lot of levels from Rayman Origins and sort of remakes them for Legends, that adds in a lot of auto-scrollers, and those are no fun.
Yeah. And then 100% is just not feasible, so
Fade away.
Wow,
dang.
that was bad.
So the beginning of this level obviously is really, really cool, especially with the fadeaway jump shot.
Why was that cycle there? Oh god.
Whew, okay. That one's scary because as you probably saw with Ferret there, it's super punishing having a death there, and a crush death is very easy to get. Sure, okay.
Yeah, this level loves to crush you, like a lot. Especially our speed strats, where we just kind of sneak up through this rock. Oh, wait.
Okay, so what's really goofy about the route right here is that we just beat the mini boss of the world, what that level was. So you think we're gonna go ahead and fight the boss right now, but the game's like, nah, we don't feel like giving you that. We're going to require you to be warped out to go check out this invasion level. Which what the invasion levels are, in short, is basically just time attack, small time attack versions of levels you've already beaten.
And just by their design, they're also very, very difficult. They're not really designed to be done once through successfully.
Right, they're intended for you to keep grinding out until you get a lower time. And the way they work is that there's 3 teensies, and each one essentially disappears from the level after 40, 50, or 60 seconds. So obviously in a speedrun it's not too big of a deal, but there are a couple that if you make a bad mistake without dying, then you'll miss one of the teensies and have to redo it.
And the time trials, of course, don't have any checkpoints, so if you die at any point, you have to restart all the way back at the beginning, and that can be as much as half a minute lost from one death.
Yep, and you also don't have a heart, so it makes it even worse.
And there's a gauntlet of I think 7 time trials right at the end of the run, and that has killed many, many good runs.
I got a 25, ugh.
So right now, instead of going just straight back to World 2 so we can beat the boss, we're actually just gonna wait till late in the run actually to defeat him, and also do a bunch of time trials that are gonna pop up there as well. So instead we're just gonna kind of go on with the game and do World 3 now.
And the first level in World 3 is called What the Duck, and despite having a great name, it's also very, very slow. So we're going to skip it, and there are 3 of the main world missions that we skip in this run just because they're very slow to get through. And we make up the loss of Teensies by just doing time trials and other such levels.
Yeah. So the way you skip levels is confusing, but essentially you can almost skip up to 2 levels per world. It is a bit more confusing than that, but there's no real reason to go too in depth.
I have a $10 donation from Brian Bacchus. I spent a couple months playing Rayman Legends online challenges to get enough points to fully complete the game. There were always mind-blowing scores at the top of the leaderboards. It makes me wonder if any of those times might have been posted by one of these 3 amazing players sitting before us now.
No.
Dank123.
And a $50 donation from Kayla Jamero. Hey, Fearfulferret, just wanted to tell you I love you, and just to make sure that we'll always have Kayla chat. I love my mod squad and all that join in chat for much fun through your runs. Always in support. Gamers Girl.
Love you too, Kayla.
So something interesting that none of us pretty much do. There's a lot more, even more complex movement tech that the aisle runners use a lot. But it's very, very difficult and doesn't have too much application in single segment runs. But you guys should definitely check out the aisle runs because they are crazy.
Oh. I could not see that hole on my screen.
The color bleed is real.
So I was behind Spike, but because I got 7 less lumps from him, I'm now ahead of Spike.
Oh, dang.
Don't worry, I'll catch up in the late game.
All right, so you might be asking, like, what the duck? What was what the duck? You'll actually get a good taste of it right here. There are 2 levels in this world where the gimmick is you get turned into a duck.
And overall, you move slower, and it's a bit tedious. It's very heavily reliant on Murphy, but there still is interesting routing and interesting ways to tackle each part of the level.
You lose a lot of your movement options as a duck, so you have to make more use of the environment to gain speed. And this is also one of the levels where we get a lucky ticket on, so we all want to get at least 450 lumps by the end of this level.
Which is not too terribly difficult since the game, the level automatically gives you like 400 or something.
Right. Again, all 10 levels that we're going to be collecting tickets from either give them to you literally automatically, or we have to do like 2 things to level to get them.
I have a $100 donation here from Alan Imperial. Here's to Seth Rogen. Love your movies. Save the animals.
So, literally, but it's pretty tight.
It's not bad.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, spaghetti.
Whoops, what am I doing?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, that was a good amount of time.
3 man. 3 man.
Oh, I don't have a heart. Yeah, if you look at Ferret's screen right now.
Oh.
Yeah, there's actually a damage boost you can do there just by letting that thing like push you into the wall.
Yeah.
I didn't have a heart, so I couldn't go for it.
All right, we're back. Sorry for that.
Welcome back, stream.
Last
We missed you.
connection, guys.
So we're in the midst of one of the most difficult levels in the game.
Yeah, unfortunately you guys missed some really cool tricks, but there's still plenty left.
Probably the most impressive looking part is near the end.
So I'll start explaining that now because it's pretty much the most important part coming up. So there's a cutscene at the end of a bunch of levels where obviously you've seen it before, where the Dark Teensy is taking away a queen or whatever. But in this level, they didn't put the trigger well, so you can actually skip it by going to a very, very precise spot, which Spike got. And that essentially duplicates him. And it is bizarre.
Yeah, so you
and
saw
Ferret,
it
you
back
got
there,
it?
just like
Nice job.
ready to hit. Nice turn too.
It is very, very precise as well. I'm gonna miss it now. Got it.
Nice. 3 for 3. Spin to win. So that's another case like Goose had been talking about earlier. That doesn't actually save time, it just looks cool. Kind of, if you're familiar with Donkey Kong Country speedrunning, when you roll through an enemy, you get a recharged roll, essentially. You get a free roll. So you can actually get inside of that dude's hitbox, and you can just infinitely roll.
Yeah, even though you can't damage him, he is treated as an enemy for all aspects of the game. So it will refund your spin, basically.
Also, I love this route because we have exactly 135 TNCs right here,
Yeah.
which is exactly how many you need to get into this mini boss. Okay, and I guess I'll just go ahead and point out this mini boss has a chance of soft locking your game. What this level is essentially just a chase level. Well, it is a chase level, but actually, let me make sure I don't.
A ledge grab, though.
Shouts to the ledge grab.
I have a $100 donation from Mark Machowski. I really did not want to make more donations, but the use of my suggestion for the Skyward Sword profile name in the glitch run encouraged me to look for more money in my bank account. If Ferret can recall every world record he holds and is willing to donate some dollars per record, I will double his donation, but please stay under $100. Shoutouts to Biznap and Fearfulferret.
That's a lot of records, I don't know.
This guy.
But yeah, you can actually, if you go too fast, then you deload the dude who's following you, and you can't beat the level.
Yeah, it is required for him to be at the end for the level to end. And just like many games, if he's off screen too far, then he just will unload.
So you might have seen some of us throughout the process, like maybe stopping for a second. We all do different stuff, but it's just to make sure you don't go too fast, which is obviously frustrating, but whatever. Oh, God, I can't do it.
There's a $27 donation from Alexander French, aka Blood Thunder. Shoutouts from behind the couch. Looks like Ferret will win this race unless Goose or Spike can pull off the infamous full half-quarter Nelson.
So I almost despawned him. I went really fast at the end. That would have been awful.
Glad none of us have done that.
Yeah.
That's you don't soft lock the game. You just have to restart sequence, and you lose about a minute.
Yeah.
Which, as you can see in a game like this, where the races, I mean, we've had a bunch of races that are always this close.
Right. And it's just people
losing a minute is awful.
Yeah. So this boss, we're about halfway through.
Welcome to the halftime show.
Yeah. So we're actually pretty close to halfway through the game. And this is an incredibly unexciting boss fight. So
unless you like luchadors.
Yeah, so this would basically be your opportunity to go get a drink of water or whatever you need.
Or spam Lucha in the chat.
Or spam Lucha.
I'd say, Johan, if you've got any donations you want to read off, go for it.
Absolutely. We have $10 from Cecily Dunn, rooting for Spikevegeta and all the collected runners and racers at SGDQ 2014. Stay awesome, guys. And $20 from Eric Brandt. Greetings from Sweden. Sitting at work at the moment, and since it's vacation times here, I have a lot of time just enjoying the runs. Nice to see that Rayman Legends is getting some love from the runners. Played it myself and think it's an amazing game to run, even though it's table flipping annoying sometimes. Keep up the good work. If you're just joining us, this is Summer Games Done Quick 2014, an event put on by Speed Demos Archive and Speedruns Live to raise money for Doctors Without Borders, also known as Médecins Sans Frontières, which is an international medical humanitarian organization created by doctors and journalists in France in 1971. Today, MSF provides independent, impartial assistance in more than 60 countries to people whose survival is threatened by violence, neglect, or catastrophe, primarily due to armed conflict, epidemics, malnutrition, exclusion from healthcare, or natural disasters. In 1999, MSF received the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts.
So this is another level where we intentionally get pretty much exactly 75 lums, which will give us the ticket and nothing more, and then save frames. Oh my god, what am I doing?
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of us have this safety card. Like, I'm gonna lose mine right now just by running into these guys. That guarantees that I only have 75.
Yep, I lost mine way earlier. A lot of the stuff that we do is honestly just preference from runner to runner, but some stuff is proven fastest, so we do that.
So that's actually the first of the 5 worlds that we are completely done with. We don't come back to World 3 at all. There is a route that actually is used by the new world record holder, Spire7. Big shout outs to Spire7 for finding a whole bunch of little tricks for games like this and Rayman Origins. But yeah, he's actually got the world record. He actually does do other time trials and whatnot, so he changes the route up a little bit.
Yeah, he essentially adds more time trials which are at the end of the route, so it makes the end of the route even more impossible than it already is.
So yeah, this is always one of the scariest levels for me. It's another level where you got a lot of controlling Murphy and Rayman. You're gonna be moving these shields back and forth. There are gonna be fireballs blasting all over the place. Lots of tight corners. Lots of little bits of RNG with these red enemies that you'll see at the end.
Yeah, so like we said, there's not a lot of RNG in the game, but one bit of RNG is the frequency at which fireball or gun enemies, projectile enemies, will shoot their projectile. That is very slightly RNG.
Gonna take a damage boost here
Oh, no.
to get up to
Right.
that guy.
Luckily, there's a heart here.
Shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I got in.
So yeah, if we're gonna die anywhere in the run, this would be one of the biggest levels where we would die.
I can do it.
Oh wow, I didn't get any boost. That's unfortunate.
That's one of the worst sections because it's just random where, how they're bobbing up and down, which can change every time you play the game. So it's hard to really predict it.
And at the very end of the level, if you go fast enough, then the giant finger of God that tries to kill you doesn't. I died, darn. Doesn't actually fire, so you're in no danger. As long as you keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
you
by
can-
actually stopping and triggering him there at the end, you might have noticed that one little TNT that was stuck on the stick, it actually busts him open. So you actually get to collect them. Also shouts to this race.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is way closer than any race we've had before.
My first 2 deaths on that level, just that. In general, World 5, I think, is some of the most visually appealing of the speedrun for a viewer.
For sure, especially 5-3. 5-3 is one of the most beautiful levels in this game. The whistling.
Yeah, I know, the whistle
The
echoes.
desynced whistle.
Oh, the red.
Oh yeah, these levels are pretty red.
I don't miss.
I fell off. All right. You missed it?
I did.
Shoutouts to the hardest strat in the game. Oh, I missed it as well.
swear it's awesome.
It's unlocked.
So that strat that Spike just did, and I'm about to do, and Ferret's about to do, is really cool. So these dark creatures, they don't give lums, but if you hit them, then they don't have a hurt box for a small delay. So you can ground pound through them and then damage boost into the cage in that scenario, which is really, really cool. I told you don't go for that, man.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
So
God.
explain what happened.
What? So what Ferret's, are you doing? Yeah, you are. So there's, oh, whoops. There's this thing called sparkler skip. Normally you're intended to use all those sparklers to scare off the dark beasts, but you can actually just skip all but one of them by doing some precise jumps past them.
I think you can skip all of them.
Can you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could, but it's not exactly safe. So I'm gonna try something that's kind of crazy. Okay, I got it. So anytime that you spin, if you're under the set speed for the spin, it'll put you up to it almost instantly. If you're over, however, it'll actually perfectly maintain your momentum. So what I did there was I actually abused the momentum that I gained from a drum to just go really fast through a corridor that you're not supposed to go that fast through. And then every single input in this game can be buffered, so us landing in the door is perfect. It's actually like frame perfect.
So we just hold up. You enter the door by holding up.
Yeah.
So we just hold it as we're going. All right. So here's like maybe just the coolest, most appealing level in the run to watch.
And we're all gonna make a lot of mistakes, and it'll be disgusting.
Lots of spaghetti.
It is a very, very hard level to actually get every single strat in a speedrun. Because every single room has its own strat. Oops. Shout out to that new strat.
All right, I should do that. Got it.
Nice.
Just learned that an hour ago.
I screwed it up.
So this Minotaur guy, the only parts that that can damage you are the shield and the weapon. So you can just run right through him if you're fast enough. Which also saves some lums. Come on, drum skip. I got it, okay. So that's like one of the easiest skips in the game.
Speak for yourself.
But we like to miss it a lot because we're bad at video games. My 5-3 was like actually almost perfect. That was crazy. Oh God, and then the end. All right, I spoke too soon. $298, nice. So the other level that we end up skipping from the main worlds, well, one of the other two is 5-4, which is the Great Lava Pursuit. It's just really slow. I mean, the level's fast, it's just like very, very long. It's like a 6-minute level or something, which is a bit too long. Although the start to 5-5 is really cool.
I just spun backwards. It happens.
All right, let's see if I can do this. Okay, I got it. So with a very precise positioning, you can actually jump over that Minotaur entirely. that jump. Nice, okay.
So yeah, there's this cool thing, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, it's called the Humble Bundle. And if you go to humblebundle.com/SGDQ, they are putting on a promotion in conjunction with this marathon. They're selling a whole bunch of the games that have been run at the marathon. And all of the proceeds from the sales of those games will go straight to Doctors Without Borders. These games include No 2 Love 2 Devolution, Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, Bleed, Dust Force, Gianna Sisters, Twisted Dreams, Guacamelee, and Psychonauts.
So one thing to touch on is, obviously we went to World 5 before World 4, and there is a reason for that. The main reason is, no matter what you do, you'll have to backtrack to World 5. However, World 4, if you have enough teensies, you can actually do the boss while you're here. So all we do is basically swap their position in the run, and that allows us to actually do all of World 4 in one sitting, rather than split it up.
This area has two main mechanics. One is swimming, and the other is these lights, where if you go inside the light, then they turn red, and then if you're inside the light for too long, they'll zap you.
And then a very occasional glitch will happen called insta-red, where the light will actually zap you the second you go into it, and we have no idea what causes it. It is just a very, very weird occurrence. Hopefully it doesn't happen though.
There's an incentive that has been added to the tracker recently. We talked to Siglemic, and he's agreed to play Super Mario 64, assuming we can reach certain donation goals by the end of Friday night. If we reach 300,000 by the end of Friday, he'll do a 16-star run. If we reach 400,000, he'll be doing a 70-star, and if we get 500,000, he will do a full 120-star run.
So something you're going to see Spike do right here, and both Ferret and I already did. It's called the damage boost, or damage boost. It is a damage boost, the one. No, it's a death abuse that actually it checkpoints after we grab the teensy. So you can actually just grab the teensy, immediately die, and it'll push you forward, and it essentially saves a bit of backtracking. There's a couple spots. We already did one in World 2, so. Whoops, I messed up the roll jump.
We just received a $150 donation from Keith Chu. He says, "Love the runs. You're making art in the most engaging possible way. You're artists. Keep it up. YOLO."
Yeah, even though this is kind of, I guess, the water-themed world, almost a bigger theme in this world is like a stealth style, like Metal Gear Solid or Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
So yeah, another Murphy level where he's essentially going to make it to where you can't be seen by having him press these certain lights to make platforms appear.
So here's a really cool damage boost where you just go straight through the light. And it ends up saving like a good chunk of time. That's really close.
You might not notice, or you might notice when we go into crawl spaces, what we're generally trying to do is to run and slide into them to the best of our ability. which will give us the best speed until we start crawling slowly. And even then, there are ways to actually maintain that momentum. It's a little trickier though.
So the only other level that we end up skipping is Mansion in the Deep, which is unfortunately like a couple seconds too slow to actually include in the route.
Yeah, definitely
I
one
didn't
of
get
the
it.
coolest levels in this game, but sadly it's pretty long.
So the level that we're doing now, at the very beginning, there's a very, very tight one cycle.
Nope.
It is incredibly difficult to do. Hopefully Spike can get it to show it off.
Oh, neither of you got it?
No.
Thanks for the pressure.
No problem.
Don't worry, this is easy. Let's get it.
Oh. It is, yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Ridiculously hard.
You basically have to wall jump off of a downward-facing corner. It's, yeah. So here's something I'm gonna try to do. There's a guy beating up at, no, I missed it completely. All right. But if you do a rolling attack, you can actually hit the guy that I just killed from below. It's kind of finicky. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, I just damage boosted. It was stress.
I missed it the first time, I got it the second. So I'm back.
So unfortunately, there are some spots where we just kind of have to wait because you can't get through the lights without Murphy's help.
Nope. Sometimes it's just finicky.
Oops. I hope I don't mess up the screen. No! Oh. All right, Ferret, you're ahead.
Yes.
I had a bad death.
So did I. Yep.
Oh no. So we do a really, really dumb strat where we try to damage boost there. It ends up saving a decent chunk of time, but so that guy I called a gatekeeper because sometimes he is just almost impossible to get past if you mess up the jumps leading up to him. There you go. Oh, and that's why he's the gatekeeper. There are just sometimes where you can't avoid him. So unfortunately, now we have an actual auto-scroller. In Quicksand, you could really affect it, but there are two full auto-scrolling sections in this level. The first one we can have some fun with. The second one, though, you just kind of do what the game wants you to do.
Right, so in case you are just joining us, this is Summer Games Done Quick, run by Speed Demos Archive and Speedruns Live. Speed Demos Archive is a website where you can find tons of information about speedruns and how to start a speedrunning game and how they work. There are also great forums where you can ask for help. You can find tons of discussions that have happened over years and years of research about all of these runs, including all of the ones that you see on the stream. Speedruns Live is a website where you can watch speedrunners doing runs, doing races, doing everything you can imagine. It's a really great place to hang out, watch people, including all the people who you see on stream right now.
So as you can see, we're not killing these guys. And then they kill themselves. So not only is that silly, but it also actually saves time because you don't get the lumps from killing a single one of those guys.
You do have to be careful because you can go off screen and kill yourself.
Yeah. That's a bad timing.
So after this level, we're going to have the mini boss and then the boss of this world, but this will be short by, I think, about 40 or 50 TNCs. And after this, we're pretty much done with the main mission world, so we go to both the Return to Origins levels, which are remakes of the levels from Rayman Origins, and we also do time trials from Worlds 1 and 2. And we also go back and kill the World 2 boss, which we still haven't done.
Right, and we just get him while we're doing World 2 time trials because then there's less travel time. How did I miss? No! Oh, dang. I didn't expect that to be happening.
In my opinion, the screen that both of them are on and I'm about to enter is like one of the worst screens in the run.
Yeah, it's brutal. There's a lot of really awkward spacing and a lot of projectiles to dodge. So that right there, the level that we're doing and I'm about to finish, that is the longest level in the game, I think.
It is.
However, it is mandatory, so unfortunately we have to do it, but fortunately it does give us another ticket level that we don't have to worry about. So I'm gonna try some really, really stupid strats for this boss, or this mini boss rather. And I'll probably die, but it'll be fun.
We're having fun. Yes, don't worry.
So the water boosting also works if you're going from one current of water into another, if they're facing different directions. You'll just fully transfer your momentum. And so you can abuse that in this level specifically to get gigantic boosts, as long as you've built up enough speed. And you can use that to bypass a lot of what you're supposed to do in this level, at least in the swimming section. Oh, I already messed up. Darn. Yeah, okay, I can't go for it anymore.
Then in this area I'm on right now, there's a bunch of scripted items that fall and such like that. And the game sort of expects you to go at a normal pace. So sometimes if you go too fast, you can actually just run into an item that's scripted that's supposed to fall in front of you. So you kind of have to be careful here not to go too fast. Then also what I'm coming up here is one of the best damage boosts in the game where you just get hit by the laser and then you get ahead of the guy you're supposed to be chasing.
So the next boss has a lot of really interesting things going on. At the very beginning, we're going to try and get the first cycle on a teensy that's on a global timer in a floating cage. And it just goes up and down. And the first cycle is really, really precise. But if you get it, you save, like 4 seconds or so.
Also, did either of you get the laser skip? Did you explain that?
Yeah.
I got it. Missed it.
Oh god, I forgot it. Ooh. Okay, I got the heart. I got caught up. I got caught up in watching a ferret. Got it. Okay.
Wow, okay.
Jeez, that was close.
That was pretty janky.
Yeah,
It worked.
it worked out. And then you hit this button and awake Mecha Murray. He doesn't have a name in this game, unfortunately, but in Rayman Origins, the boss you fight is Murray, and this is him, so. And again, like the other bosses, it's just, you know, wait for your opening, hit him 5 times or whatever. So something I just did there, or at least tried to do, is a rapid fire, basically. You can cancel your attacks in the air by hitting jump again, and we end up using it mostly on the final boss, but it does work in other places, and it allows you to essentially, it refunds your punch. So you could theoretically punch 30 times a second, theoretically. Obviously, no human can match that hard.
Yeah, normally if you just press the attack button, they'll go in combos of 4, which is annoying because most boss phases are in combos of 5. So you end up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, 5. But utilizing that, you can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very quickly. So here, you're actually going to see a little bit of a different route. Oh, God.
Yeah, we're gonna split up a little bit.
Goose and I will be going to the same place. We're going to go to World 2 now to go ahead and do some time trials and go ahead and get done with the World 2 boss.
And I'm going to start scratching lucky tickets right now and open up the first Origins level and do that right now instead of later.
And technically, these 2 routes are different by like 2 seconds at most.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's not, and it's probably not even 2 seconds. All it really saves is a little bit of like menuing. It's really not a big deal.
So scratching lucky tickets is the one major way where even if you take out loading times, console is still slower than PC. Because with PC, you just swipe your mouse really, really fast and you can get the ticket scratched in a few frames. But with console, you have this very awkward 2-finger thing going on, and it's even worse than playing Octodad.
Shout out to Octodad. So yeah, now I'm doing a time trial, and the routing is a bit weird. We don't do the time trials in one full chunk because travel time, essentially, it's faster to do the one right next to you, and then the boss. Oh, I landed on the parachute, like, barely. Okay, we're good. All right, 26 is fine. Spike's gonna get like a 21. So time trials are definitely my biggest weakness. I'm never very good at them, even when I practice them a lot.
24 solid there.
Yeah.
It's very common for runs at a world record pace to just die at time trials.
Yeah.
And now we're finally going to beat the World 2 boss, who's actually one of the scariest parts in the run.
Right.
Because of his second phase where you have to deal with missiles.
So the scary thing about missiles, specifically the red ones, is that that's the other very slight RNG aspect of the game. They have an aggro range, essentially, where they'll lock onto you. But it's less of a finite number and more of an actual range. So between values, X and Y, they will lock onto you. And that can be kind of off-putting for a couple spots, specifically like Spike said in Phase 2. But for the most part, as long as you destroy the 3 middle missiles, then you should be okay.
So I've got 2 missiles still on screen with me here. Usually I've got enough space to where I can get rid of them anyways, though. We all kind of have different strategies to take them out.
So now, after I beat the boss, I'm going to go back and finish the other World 2 time trials, and then I'll be heading to the Back to Origins levels after scratching lucky tickets.
It's only going to be for a couple levels here that our routes are going to be off. Once we get to 248 teensies, we'll both be back on the same track. At that point, we just have to go to 4 World 1 trials, and then the final 2 levels of the game.
And our ultimate goal is to collect 260 teensies. That's the minimum that you need to unlock the second to last level, which in turn unlocks the final boss.
I just subconsciously used the first pillow on this level. I'm the worst. I'm sorry, Kane.
Sorry, Kane.
Shoutouts to Kane Apache.
Yeah, one of the big IL runners for this game.
Yeah, he always likes to yell at me for my awful time trials. But it's fine. I accept it.
It's frustrating when you get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't quite make that platform.
Yeah, I like to put just like a little bit of hover in there, just to make sure.
Yeah, that's frustrating. And twice I got screwed by that hover, because then that threw off that later cycle.
Alright, so now that I'm done with World 2 time trials, and there's actually still one World 1 time trial that hasn't unlocked, 1 or 2, I'm going to scratch these lucky tickets, do both Back to Origins levels, and then head to World 1. So you can basically look away from my screen for the next 2 minutes.
I don't understand what's happening right now. I don't know why all these cycles are off. Coming out of this jump, right? Alright, we're just taking it slow. I don't know why all that was happening.
Yeah, sometimes time trials can do really weird stuff after you've restarted them multiple times. And we're not exactly sure why. Something to do with the global timers continuing onward after already restarting. So I'm doing best original score first because it's actually easier to travel to from the briefcase at this point. So that's basically the only reason. So best original score is actually a really interesting level. There's a lot of weird spacing, so it's pretty hard to optimize, but Your guys' music is like 1 second apart.
Wow. I'm having the same troubles as Spike.
I don't understand why this screen is being such an ass tonight.
Yeah, so as you can see, time trials again.
Yeah.
they can ruin a very good run. It's just, they're so unpredictable.
The way the game determines if you actually have the ticket fully unscratched is once all 6 of them have enough percentage of them uncovered. So you kind of got to keep your eyes open for what haven't really shut, like what isn't shining essentially. So you want to do something.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, I got the roll jump. Thank God. And so, like we said, once we all get to 248, then we'll all be back right on track.
Thank you to Falcon Arena for your $1,000 donation.
Wow.
He says, "Hey guys from Dubai, I love GDQ and I was a fan of it from SGDQ 2013. You guys give me the motivation to speedrun games with me noticing it. You guys are the best. Here's $1,000. 500 goes to FF6 100%. The other 500 goes to naming Sabin Zangief, protector of the GDQ skies."
So the items that you get from Lucky Tickets are somewhat random. There are some that are fixed and some that are sort of fixed, like they will show up in one of 3 different spots. And the ones that we actually care about is that the 5th ticket that you scratch during a run will always have the first Return to Origins level, which is Geyser Blast. The 10th one will always have Best Original Score. And then any one of 7, 8, or 9 will have 1 TNT. And since we get exactly 10 tickets, then we can guarantee all of those. So the randomness in Lucky Tickets doesn't affect the run.
Yeah. Lums and creatures, however, are fairly random. But fortunately, we don't care about either of those. Missed the cycle.
Thought I got stunlocked, but I didn't.
Yeah, that bird has a tendency to stun lock you. He keeps knocking you directly into the corner. That's why I normally take that spot a little bit slow. It worked out though.
It did.
Oh. Speaking of levels with weird spacing, Geyser Blast. Alright, so now that I'm done with Geyser Blasts, and I'll have 248 TNCs, that's my cue to go back to World 1 Time Trials. And World 1 Time Trials are some of the hardest in the game. At least to actually go very fast in. There are a lot of very, very scary straps. Oh no, that's really bad. Normally I can grab that ring.
All right, so our routes are converging, really starting to converge now. As soon as I finish this level, then I'll go on to the time trial that Goose is currently on. I'm going to now, and as soon as Spike is done with his level, then he'll be doing this as well. And then just the 4 World 1 time trials, and then the 2 last levels in the final area.
Oops, that was bad. Oh, this ropes course is so bad. Died once and got a 33. It's okay though. The scary thing is, it's still very easy for any one of us to take this.
Absolutely.
Time trials as well as the final levels are incredibly hard.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely rough doing RTs of this because it's so back heavy and like how you can lose runs. You'll usually get runs pretty deep, and then the second half will just destroy you.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like mostly the last quarter.
Yeah. So now I'll be able to join them on these last 4 time trials. Once we finish the 4 time trials, we'll get 260 TT, so we can go on to the final 2 levels of the game.
So, one really small thing, but very important, is that at the end of the time trial, if you hit the jump button, or A, it'll retry, and you'll lose quite a chunk of time. So you have to make sure not to hit that. I've definitely lost runs to accidentally hitting A. Are you kidding me? How does that enemy kill me? That's a really bad boost. Is really bad on that level.
Could be worse.
So I only have 1 more time trial to go. And the reason we're making such a big deal of the last couple levels is that the second to last level, Hell Breaks Loose, is insane.
It's a lot of fun, but it's very difficult.
Yeah. Basically, one day I was wondering if we could skip the intended route and just fall down the whole level, and it'll make sense when we get there. Spoilers, you can. Oh, that was close. Oh, jeez. I can never get that jump.
Wow.
All right, Hell Breaks Loose. Let's do this thing.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Even though it's not really luck.
I'm gonna need it.
Totally luck.
So, like we mentioned earlier, you can buffer any input in the game, which means that you can hit it a decent chunk of time before you actually need to hit it, and it will still activate. And that makes this level a little bit tough. You basically have to avoid the walls to avoid wall jumping, because you do need to hit the jump button a bit oh, it's dead to your fault. I lost my heart immediately. That's not good. But for the most part, you're just falling down, avoiding saw blades using Murphy. And it's very scary. through. Awesome.
Nice.
All right, awesome. Flawless help.
Yeah, that deserves an applause right there. That's really good.
All right. Still not over. Final boss is crazy as well. So the final boss, it differs from all the other bosses because it's not a set hit count. You actually have to knock away parts of the boss. And once a certain amount is gone, then the boss will be considered dead. And there's 3 different phases, and each of which has a sort of quick kill, but it's very hard to do.
There's a strat that I just did that's a really bad idea. It saves no time, and if you fail it, you soft lock the mission, and you have to start over.
Come on, Ferret.
But it worked. So,
Shoutouts to Ferret for doing the dumbest strat in history in a marathon run.
and the reason it soft locks is that it sets your checkpoint before a part of the level has moved. So you sort of spawn inside a part of the level that hasn't moved yet, and you just fall into the lava. And so you keep respawning and falling into the lava, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So the first form of the boss, oh wow, that didn't give me a charge shot, that's not good. Come on, he's like 1 hit there. Okay, so after we defeat every phase of a boss, we restart checkpoint, and that just lets us move faster. And when you restart checkpoint, it always considers you on the ground, even if you're in the air. So if you mash A, you can actually get a jump off. But the first phase is pretty straightforward. Second phase is also very straightforward. The third phase is when it gets a bit difficult. But there are quick kills on every single phase. I messed this strat up like pretty bad. Oh, just a wing left. All right. I used the first pig. I'm forgetting all of my strats, man. All right. So the third phase is hard. You can do it in 2 cycles, technically, but it's only happened like 1 time ever. Maybe a bit more than once, but it is very, very, very difficult and very luck dependent. It's not necessarily RNG, but the boss is actually 3-dimensional, so sometimes your punch will actually pass straight through him without knocking pieces off, which is a really unfortunate thing that happens. Really need to hit that wing. Okay, I got it. So get ready on time. Time is coming up very soon. And time. Nice.
Time. I got a 2 cycle on the last phase of the boss as well, so pretty
Nice.
happy with that.
That was an insane race.
It was time trials, man.
Yeah. So we did 1 practice race before this race, and we all did pretty bad. The game actually allows you to check your deaths at the end, so I guess I'll do that instead of sitting through the 40-minute Ubisoft credits.
Shoutouts to all 10 of the teams that made this game.
Right. Okay, ready? Go. 11.
13.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad. My PB, which was the record for a fair amount of time, had 5 deaths. And I think the current record is 3 deaths. So deathless is very, very difficult to do in this game. I only know of one guy that does it.
I messed up so many shots in there.
Yeah, so this, like, as you saw, he basically turned into Swiss cheese, and you just don't have a good way to tackle it once he's just all separated. Oh, wow.
Oh, that counts. Oh, I didn't think those were count.
Yeah, so I guess that's something we probably should have mentioned. When you take damage, obviously there's invincibility frames, but some things will cause less invincibility frames than others. And overall, it's just really, really weird. Because there's no clear indicator that you're still invincible. And there was a punch that basically went straight through him. Oh, you got the heart.
What? Oh, I got that one.
Holy God. Nice, okay.
Okay.
The whistling. You guys can't hear it, but the whistling is off by like 1 second.
I hear it behind me as well.
Okay, time. Okay. All right, so yeah, you guys donated for music levels. We decided we each just picked one. I guess we can go in the order that they pop up in the game. So if you want to go ahead and do yours.
So we're gonna do them on this one because I think this is the only one we're getting audio from.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll switch to the
get out
couch, I
here.
guess.
Yeah. We're each gonna do one
Or
music level.
I'll do it from here.
Just don't worry. Whistle. Yeah, wait.
I was about to say, let's go.
Just turn it down.
Thank you to Sean Age for your $15 donation. Loving the Rayman run, guys. Shoutouts from Australia. This money goes to Pokemon Snap.
So the music levels are probably one of the more popular parts of this game, where there's a piece of music that plays and you sort of go along the level in sync with it, and the game sort of forces you into it, so it's basically an auto-scroller. If you're behind, then it like adds speed to you so you catch up, and if you try to go too fast, then it slows you down, so you keep in time with the music. This is my personal favorite, based off of Black Betty.
swag.
I'm not going to do that much swag. Sorry, guys. Don't expect that from me.
My goal would be to not die.
Yeah. So
I did enough of that.
if you die, then the game will basically, the music will suddenly stop and then restart at whatever the checkpoint is. So my favorite music level, of course, is based on Eye of the Tiger in a mariachi theme. So this will be fun. Apologies in advance if I die. I'm known to choke pretty hard on these levels. Thanks for telling me how to run. How did that happen?
That is a janky spot. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
I don't even know how that happened. I was attacking.
It just decides that your attack is not worth it. But
Oh well, we get to hear this part again. It's alright.
cool. Mash. Yeah.
Sorry guys, I choked.
So unlike my two colleagues, nice, perfect lump. So unlike my two colleagues here, oh cool, Mad Boy.
Nice. Dude, look at all these achievements.
These achievements. Shouts to Church and Sarge's Xbox. Getting tons of them points. Unlike my two colleagues, this was not a favorite song of mine when I was a kid. This is just the other one because I got the third pick. But it's pretty cool.
Now don't choke. Careful.
I did enough of that. There's enough spaghetti in the run. Shouts to all the red. Oh, I thought he was gonna count right at the last second. Yo, what's up? Let's go. Last jump. thanks everyone so much for watching.
Yeah.
Again, this game's like $10 on Steam right now.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
go check it out.
Go buy this for sure if you haven't already.
It's a fun game casually. We're speedrunning it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking for good games to speedrun on the Steam Summer Sales, and this is definitely one of the good ones.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Once again, thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Next up is Dishonored. So let's do it.
Thank you to the three of you for those levels and for the really incredible race that was really tight and like had a lot of lead changes. It was really an awesome race. So next up we have Dishonored, but first we will be taking a short commercial break. We'll see you in 60 seconds. Luligen, I thought you were going to sleep. For those of you that can hear this right now, that means that you have ad block on. All ad revenue goes straight to Doctors Without Borders, so even if it's just for this one stream, we would really appreciate it if you turned off ad block. It's a 60-second commercial. Nothing is going on during this time, so there's really no reason for you not to, and we'd really appreciate it.